Hello everybody, we are back once again for another edition of the Pantograph Prep Preview. I'm Joe Deacon, and again with me Randy Kindred.
Hey Joe.
Hi Randy, how you doing today?
Good.
Week 8?
Yeah, it's
second
flying
last
by.
week?
Yeah, the older I get, the faster the seasons go, it seems like.
Man, they're going to be flying by pretty soon then. Well, we're going to take a look at the key, mostly the inner-city games this week. First off, we've got the showdown at the top of the Big 12 right now. Normal Community at 6-0 in the league, 7-0 overall. They're going to be playing Danville, and this is a big one.
Yeah. Normal can basically wrap up the title with a win in this one. I mean, they would have one week left to go, obviously, but boy, this is a huge game. I believe everyone else in the conference has at least one loss, so yeah, they're kind of in control of their own destiny, which every coach and player wants to be. And I think it'll be a great game. Danville coming off a win over Peoria High, so they're obviously got some momentum. Yeah,
you got to like what Danville's defense did against Peoria High, holding them down like nobody else has been able to do all year.
Yeah, if you hold those guys under 60, you're doing well, and they held them well under that. So yeah, I think it'll be a great game. Obviously, a key for Normal will be if they can continue to have Dalen Bodie be a threat running and passing. He's been hard for anybody else to stop, so we'll see if Danville can do it.
I'm sure West Temple's doesn't have his team overconfident at all, but I mean they've got to have a little bit of confidence knowing they beat Normal West and Normal West did beat Danville.
Yeah, I think that. Coaches will never admit that they want anybody to look at comparative scores, but yeah, I think that is a source of a little bit of a confidence builder, and so we'll see what happens. I think if Normal can stay away from a night where they turn it over a lot, I really like their chances of winning the game.
I'm sure being at home will be on the Ironman's favor as well.
Yeah.
The other team we just mentioned, of course, Normal West, they're still in the thick of that Big 12 race, and they've got a game here against Peoria Ridgewoods.
Yeah.
A little bit of a bad setback for the Wildcats this week.
Yeah, we just found out that Genesis Forrest, their star senior running back, has got a fracture in his fibula, so he's going to miss the rest of the season, which is really a tough break for him and for the team. But they've had a good stable of running backs this year that they rotated in, and Genesis missed a couple of games earlier in the year when he tweaked a knee, so. They've got some capable guys there that have proven they can do the job. So obviously they'd rather have Genesis, but I think they're still going to be a pretty formidable offense even without him.
Yeah, they've shown they've had so many guys on offense. Like you said, his brother Armani's been good, and Malik Tucker's been. Mm-hmm. They've got the 2-quarterback system, which has worked out pretty well for them so far.
Yeah.
They've put up a lot of points this year. In fact, I think they've actually put up more points than Normal Community has.
Yeah, and in Ridgewoods. Ridgewoods has a pretty good quarterback and a really good running back. They beat Bloomington last week 27-20, but I think this is kind of the same way with if Normal West can avoid turnovers and get that offense rolling, it'd be awfully tough for Ridgewoods to stop them, I think.
Switching gears for a minute, let's look over in the Illini Prairie Conference where Central Catholic, they're still in the thick of the conference hunt, just a game behind Kelowna and Unity, and this week they've got IVC.
Yeah, and the Saints coming off a big win at Rantoul, I think 69-20, something like that, and they've really had good production running and passing with Simon Davis running the ball and Max Mays and to James Morris, a great connection throwing the ball. The one thing that Mike Mays did mention to me was they've had the flu bug kind of going through the team this week, so there's going to be some guys he's going to have to make game time decisions on if they're going to be available. So that could factor in, but I still really like their chances in this one.
I think IVC, they're coming off a loss to a St. Joseph Ogden team, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Central did play St. Joe pretty well. So. Yeah. That should be in the Saints' favor. Moving on, University High. We've talked about them, weathering the storm so far in the Central State 8, and now they really have the fate in their own hands right now.
Yeah, they do. They're shooting for their third straight win. That would, if they can get it, would get them to 4-4. They'd go into that last week against Chatham-Glenwood with a chance to become playoff eligible, and that'd be a great thing for their first year in a conference like the Central State 8. And it's on the road again, but it seems like they've handled being on the road pretty well so far this year, so we'll see if they can do it one more time.
Well, talk about the season Doug Holmes has had.
Yeah,
he's Barry's passing leader right now.
He's been tremendous, and I really felt for him the last couple of years because there were times he was really kind of taking a beating. Things weren't going well, and and it's always easy to blame the quarterback when stuff like that happens, but he's hung in there, and he's really had a great year, and it'd be nice to see if he can just finish it off on a good note.
Indeed it would. Lastly, in the inner city, we've got Bloomington, and now it's really crunch time for the Purple Raiders.
Yeah, that was a huge loss for them last week at Ridgewoods, because now they have no margin for error. They have to win against Urbana tomorrow night, and then they would have to beat Danville at Danville in week 9 to get in the playoffs. But first things first, I mean, I'm sure they're focused on let's try to get this win. Urbana has struggled, obviously, and so they need to take care of business and then worry about Danville.
Yeah, you never want to overlook anybody, but again, like you said, Urbana hasn't won a game this year. They're really struggling. This is one you kind of, you get it in the books, you take care of your own business, and then you focus on getting that last
If
win.
nothing else, it might be a game where they can regain some confidence, because they've lost. They were 3-1 at one point. They've lost 3 in a row, and obviously losing Colton Sandage to injury was part of that. But this could be a game where maybe if things click and they go well, they could regain some confidence, have a little momentum going into that Danville game.
Yeah, and lastly, we're going to take a look at moving on to the HOIC Large Division. We've got a big ranked showdown here as TriValley and Fieldcrest are going to battle in Minonk.
Yeah, that'll be a great game. Fieldcrest has really come on of late, and with Cam Grandy, we've talked about him a little bit before. He's 1,300 yards passing and run for almost 700 yards and has about 24, 25 touchdowns combined. So he's obviously going to be the focal point for TriValley, but then they counter with the leading rusher in the area with Zach Woodring. So I think the key will be if TriValley is able to control the ball on the ground and chew up the clock, that could really be a big factor in them being successful up there.
It's kind of been kind of a quietly great year for TriValley. They haven't really jumped out. It's kind of what they've expected from them from the year. Obviously, they had a tough loss in week 1, but they've just kind of steadily rolled along with their ground game.
Yeah, and then last week they kind of had to grind out a 34-20 win over Fisher, which Fisher's been a pretty good team, and so yeah, it's. If you can quietly be ranked 5th in the state,
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what they've done.
Right.
That's a credit to how good they've been the last few years. You haven't heard much about them, and they're ranked 5th in the state.
Yeah, and again, like you pointed out how good Fieldcrest has been, kind of catching a couple people off guard. This is a team that TriValley can't look past because they do have a showdown with DMACC coming up, even though DMACC has struggled a little bit this
year. Yeah, that'll be a great week 9 game, but yeah, they've got a lot on their plate in week 8 before they get to that.
Yeah, just another quick mention. Obviously, we got to point out how great a season that GCMS is having too.
Oh yeah,
they've been rolling through pretty much unfazed right now, and they've got a game against Flanagan Cornell Woodland this week. Obviously, that program is struggling right now, but boy, what a run that GCMS is.
Yeah, I haven't stopped to look, but probably or maybe all of their games have been a running clock in the second half because they've just been. On such a roll, and I think they've got some great momentum and great. They've got a good balance. They've got a great running game, obviously with Mitch McNutt, and that he kind of leads that. But then they're able to throw the ball pretty well with Nathan Gerard, and if they can continue to have a little balance there, they can be a really tough team to handle in the playoffs.
Quick look at a couple other area teams in that Illini Prairie Conference. We've got Prairie Central and Pontiac both have 4 wins right now, so they're looking to get that 5th. Pontiac is home against St. Thomas More, and Prairie Central will be at home, but they've got a challenge with Monticello.
Yeah, so that'll be a tough one.
A couple weeks ago, they've got to get at least one more win to make sure they're playoff eligible. A lot of teams looking for that 5th or 6th win to guarantee their spot in the postseason.
Yeah.
So, well, as always, that'll do it for this week's show. We're going to have all the games going on live. We'll have live score updates as the games go on Friday night on Panagraph.com. All the stories will be there, and then be sure to pick up the Saturday morning section of the Panagraph for all the reports. Thanks for watching.